Okay, people. So it's October 22nd, 2017. What's on my list of things to do in terms of yard is I still have to harvest the Swiss chard, cook it up and freeze it. I have to harvest the beets. I wouldn't mind making a few jars of pickled beets, and then the rest will probably be just shredded and frozen along with their leaves and stems. And then the parsnips, well, probably shredded and frozen or something like that. There's not that many parsnips. And then I'm doing walnuts. Andre and I found, I don't know, we haven't counted them yet, people. It's probably 300 to maybe 600 walnuts the other day, black walnuts. So they're kind of like all outside. I have to count them and sort them out. And so I will be doing that soon. And then I've got a few other bags that I still have to do. So walnuts is a big one. What I've discovered about walnuts, prior to talking about the black walnut, the English walnut, if you ever come across an English walnut tree, I'm telling you people, from my experience, the best thing that you can do is obviously shuck them with the husk, right? Take off the husk and scrub them. Scrub them with a little scrub brush, because I've done them, I've dried them with just taking off the husk with a knife, rinsing them off and letting them dry that way. We're talking about the English walnut here, right? And I've also done it where I've taken off the husk and then scrubbed it with a brush and let it dry that way. And I find, in terms of what happens to the nut inside, if you take off the husk and scrub it and let it dry, what you're going to do, what you're going to get, people, I'm telling you right now, is you're going to get a much meatier nut, more rich, better in flavor. Whereas if you leave the husk on a little bit and then let it dry, it shrivels up faster inside and it tastes bitter. Okay? So take the time to scrub it. So husk it, wash it, scrub it, let it dry, and then you're going to get a better nut for the English walnut. And I would assume that that same principle applies to the black walnut, because what happens is even if the husk is only a little bit on the shell, as it dries, it permeates the shell and it goes into the meat, the nut, right? And it changes the flavor, changes the texture, and changes even the look of it, right? So I'm husking and scrubbing. And then, of course, the powder, I'm saving the rinds. I make ink powder, which can last up to 1,000 years in terms of ink on paper, right? Leonardo da Vinci has art made out of black walnut ink as well as writings. And it's been documented that the black walnut ink can last over 1,000 years. So I feel like I have something very special, and I really want to take the opportunity and nurture that experience, because like I said in a previous video, you know, I'm 55 years old and I've never come across a black walnut tree, never mind a full grown one that was producing over 1,000 nuts within one season, right? And so I feel very blessed, and I'm still working on Andre's walnut art, right? So this is something that I will be integrating into his platform, right? Because it's Andre's walnut art. I still have to write the storybook too. So, okay. Outside of that, you know, housework, whatever, have to work in the basement. But I am now today sitting in front of my other computer, and I'm going to start listing down these documents. I don't know how to list down these documents, but I'm just going to take whatever I have and just start making a list. I'm thinking, because some things I have in categories, so maybe each category will get their own page, And then when I get downtown, I can go into that Access Justice Resource Center and see how I can apply it to the form that it goes on, right? And just try and categorize it right now. It's really hard for me to focus, a lot of pressure, right? The weather is changing. I'm having to turn up the heat now, and you know, the air is cold, and just general everything, right? So I'm a lot of eye pressure. I can really feel it, but it's really hard for me to focus, but I'm going to have to do it anyway. So that's what I'm going to start working on after I finish this little thing. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go convert the video so that it doesn't end up being really, really long, right? And then we'll just carry on and see what happens over the next few days, right? Because again, I have a little bit of food harvesting to do, and I have to keep up with these. And yes, of course, I'm also doing horse chestnuts too. I'm doing horse chestnuts again with Andre. Andre wanted to do horse chestnuts, so I got nuts all over the house right now, right? Like I did last year. So you know, I'm kind of like I'm oiling down the chestnuts at night when I'm, you know, watching YouTube. I'm trying to really kind of spread out my you know, how you multitask, right? So the last thing that I want to say, being that I'm starting to work on documents, I just wanted to share this with you people, because I don't know what's going to happen. I feel like the court is protecting the criminal activity, in terms of just because of the bias experience that the first time I went, and you know, I mean, it was I came in with my daughter, my two daughters, and my younger daughter had the children that she does childcare for, and Andre was there, so there was like 4 children and my 2 daughters. And you know, that master's telling me to go back to school, right? That, you know, I better get it right, because if I don't, I'm going to be charged a lot, right? In terms of that amendment that I did. Well, we know I didn't do the amendment correctly, and whatever else I do probably won't be to par, but I'm not going to drop the ball on my family or on Uncle John. And, you know, I've already established that the next time I have to go into a court setting, matter of fact, I should be a ruler. Bring a ruler and be cocky. I should be cocky. You know, they want to say I'm being vindictive and all this fucking shit, right? Well, I can be cocky too. I can go get myself a ruler. I got lots of rulers, measuring tapes. And when I go stand, you know, I'm just being cocky here, people, but you know, when I go up to that little table, and you got the lawyer on this side and you're on this side, right? Whatever. And then, you know, I want 4 feet, at least 4 feet, preferably 5, maybe even freaking 6, right? So that it really stands out. The judge will be like, why are you standing way over there? I'll say, because the last time I came to court, people, I was hoodwinked. That lawyer pointed her finger and said, sign here. Whatever the hell it was I signed, whatever orders, there was 2 other orders that he agreed to that there's no copy of, there's no record of, because when I went to the courthouse, I said, the judge ordered something where I don't have to sign something, where I don't have to be there to sign. It's not listed. It's not listed under their records. But I, you know, and the one paper that I did sign, because she said point here, I signed it in the wrong spot. So I want 4 to 6 feet distance between us the next time I go to court, so I don't get subliminally manipulated, right? Because it's a game. It's a game, people. Like, I'm like a fish in a fishbowl with a bunch of cats swatting at it. Literally. That's how I feel. Right? Because they know what they're doing. They're all bigger than me. Right? I'm the one stuck in the fucking bowl. And you got 4 or 5 cats in there with their paws swatting at me. That's kind of like how this court situation is. So they're being biased. That guy was being biased. Just, you know, whatever. I mean, people have their personalities. You know, it's his job, right? Maybe he's bored with his job, or maybe he gets off on being freaking, you know, high on the horse. Who knows? All I know is that this little piece of paper, right? And whatever. See? Know all men by these presence. This is from the bank. Has been made, constituted, and appointed, and is by these presents made, constituted, and appointed, the true and lawful attorney of the undersigned, the attorney. I'm giving this to the judge, along with my list. But I think I have to do the list. I have to submit it and put it into the court registry and give them a copy. And I'm supposed to do this before the 15th of November. If I don't get called into court sooner than that, because Fraser Health wants to throw this out. Which the court will probably agree with, because they're trying to protect criminal activity. So when I'm standing on my side of the freaking fence, I guess you can say, and I get 5 minutes to talk, people, I will be charged $20,000 for 5 minutes to talk and explain my side of the story. I'm going to have it written down where I'm going to say, well, Your Honor, first of all, I'd like to say that I think the court is being biased and is discriminating against my family, right along with Fraser Health Authority, right? And they're protecting, for the purpose of protecting criminal activity. And then I'll show them my Criminal Code of Canada book. And then I'm going to let them know that I don't feel like I got any justice in this place, and that it's going to be a long freaking haul, right? And therefore, because of that, I'm making plans to send this information to Governor Rick Perry, who is Secretary of Energy in the United States of America. Because I like to think that he'd like to know what's going on in my life. Being that, you know, not too many people 3,000 miles away is going to reach out to you. Right? So if I reach out once, not reach out twice. Governor Christie, already talked about him. The Attorney General in British Columbia, Canada. And the Minister of Health. So I'm making plans now to photocopy 4 copies of these notices of claims against CIBC Bank and the Fraser Health Authority, to let the court know that even though that they throw it out, doesn't mean that they squash the information and hid it away forever, like their dirty secret, like Uncle John's dirty secret with him being put in some fucking dungeon. What's better? Is it better to be in a fishbowl or in a dungeon? At least you have a chance in a fishbowl. You got no freaking chance in no dungeon. Alright. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to bring this with me along with the Criminal Code of Canada. And my list. And I'm going to take it, people. Whatever the court wants to dish out to me, right? Mistreat me, right? Mistreat my family, continue to mistreat Uncle John in collusion with Fraser Health Authority. Well, like, what the fuck are they protecting? Public tax dollars. Public tax dollars. That's what they're protecting, people. Public tax dollars. Right? Okay, people, I'm in Uncle John's room here. I'm looking at outfits that I made back in 2004, 2005. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have my daughter model them for me. And then I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to get that YouTube troll network that I think get paid to stalk certain channels, flagging my video, right? So that gets an age restriction on it, even though you can go into other channels. Hold on a minute. Okay, people, it's October 22nd. I'm harvesting food from the yard. Those are the beans. So I'm just going to freeze these as is, and then after I'm going to put them in a bag. Here's some green tomatoes. I brought in all the tomatoes today. I have some in some boxes. I will show you. These ones I cut, I froze. Now I'm going to put them in a bag, put them back in the freezer. Hold on. And then I'm going to show you what I've done with my green tomatoes. This is my landlady's idea. Get a box and just kind of layer them, not too many, right? And you can see. And then I put a little bit of newspaper on the side there. This is just plain brown paper. And then I just put a little bit of newspaper on top. Hold on a minute. And this is what I got from my greenhouse today, people. If my greenhouse was heated, the plants would still be growing. Hold on a minute. And then I've got another box. You can see. Hold on. And then I got another box.
No, wait.
Hold on a minute. You can see, right?
Wait.
Oh, there we go.
Wait.
Okay, people. So this is where my kids get mad at me. Because when you do stuff like this, 4 boxes later, it starts to pile up, eh? And it's not even just that. I'm also doing kale right now, too, right? So, tomorrow will probably be Swiss chard. Because I'm trying to get it all in before the weather gets really, really cold. And then after the Swiss chard, then it's beets and parsnips. That's pretty much it out there in terms of food. And there's a little bit of it's kind of like a spinach thing that's growing. But it's not enough to, put into food storage, right? So what I'm doing with the tomatoes, because you're not supposed to technically can tomatoes that came green off the vine after you ripen them in the house. Now, I don't know why that is. I haven't had time to really look it up and try and figure out why that's so important. So, what I'm going to do then is, as they're ripening, right, I'm going to take them out and either freeze them whole, right, or maybe, I don't know, what is the difference between canned tomatoes and stewed tomatoes? Because you can save more if you stew it, right? And then freeze it. In that case, I would put it in either bags or jars, but I find that, oftentimes I do this stuff, but I don't necessarily get a chance to always use it. Right? So it either sits there or, depending on what it is, the kids will eat it, right? Economically, with no money, people, times are tough, right? This is the best way for me. This is the best way for me. Because I don't have to fret. I don't have to worry. I have food. Right? Yeah. Now I brought the bread machine and I'm putting it on the table here.
Yeah, for me.
Yeah. So Andre and I can
make some bread.
Yeah, start using it.
Yeah, and I'm a dog.
Yeah, okay. He's got his Halloween costume on.
Yep. Halloween's coming in 5 days.
Well, they can't. I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Don't interrupt me. So, between 4 boxes, and that's not including what I gave away. I probably gave away, 5 or 6 boxes as they were growing. And these things got in late. And they started from seed. The majority of them started from seed. Not all the plants, but the majority of the plants. All the plants in the greenhouse were from seed. So that was pretty amazing. So for a few little seeds, I sure got a lot of tomatoes, guys. Like, seriously. But, again, you know, my kids, I don't know. They expect miracles from me sometimes. You know. Right? If I don't do this, people, it will just go to waste. Or I'll give it away and I'll go hungry. Right? Oh, I won't go hungry, but you know what I mean. Right? So some of these green tomatoes, because I've already started a bag, I took those ones that were frozen and I put them in a plastic bag and put them in the freezer. I'm going to cut another tray full and make another bag because I personally, myself, like Andre, please, like fried green tomatoes. That's something I like to have with my meal, depending on what it is. So I'm going to do that. Cut up some more of these. The little ones versus trying to put them in a box, they don't necessarily respond well with that. I would, Andre, please. I pulled out some old Dupo blocks from when he was little, and he's got, like, I got a big bin, right? So it's like, it's been pretty exciting for him. He's been building stuff. So anyway, these kind, you just want to wash them, whatever, put them in a bag and freeze them whole. That's the best way, because in this way they don't dehydrate out as you're trying to ripen them. They're too small. Even these little ones you can just throw in the bag. You can pop them into soup, whatever you want, right? You know, this size even is not too bad, right? It's a bite size. So all these will be just frozen whole, and I'll be back. Hold on. Okay, and as I'm doing that, I rescued some teddy bears from a garbage can. Well, actually, it was somebody else that was throwing them out of the garbage can into a pile of other things that he was rescuing. And I said, oh, I'll take those. I'll just give them a little wash in the wash machine. Look at this. These things are so cute. Oh, my God. People throw this stuff out, people. Like, what is wrong with people?
Yeah, and why did they throw this out?
They're air drying right now because I washed them yesterday.
Well, but this is already dried up. It's already dry.
Huh?
It's already dry. Dry.
Right?
That's dry.
No, their stuffing inside has to dry. They're not dry yet. They're still damp. Just leave it.
No, feel it.
Andre, don't argue. It's inside. It's inside that's still wet.
Yeah, I can feel it now.
Right? They have to air dry. So, look at that. So I guess we'll be adding them to our collection. And then this is where I put the box, people. So that's the fourth box in the house. That's all the tomatoes pretty much left over from the greenhouse.
Yep.
Look at this.
I don't know why they throw this stuff out.
Because people are lazy to wash things and give them away.
And I got myself a spaceship now.
Oh, these are so cute.
Now I found a spaceship in the garbage.
Oh, here's another one. Twins.
No, we don't take this.
Oh, yes, and then we got this. This is an old Star Wars.
Yeah, it has a robot.
Yeah, the fella said, the fella who was in there, he said, well, I want this. And I said, I was going to give it to my grandson. Oh, he said, that's okay then. He says, your grandson can have it. But that got rescued too. Somebody else threw that out in the garbage. So Andre's been playing with that ever since. And then there's my hoarding moment, people. This is the Dupo blocks. Some of them, I actually have more than this. When Andre was little.
Baby?
Yeah. And he found this. There's parts to it. It actually builds up into something. So this is like really nice stuff, right? Right? This is why I hang on to this kind of stuff.
Yep, and it comes with a dog.
And it comes with a dog that has people. All kind of, don't lose the people either, right?
I'm not.
So.
And it comes with a helicopter.
Yeah, there's
but
other, there's other pieces. Well, anything blue like this would be with it, right? Yeah. Probably. Anyway, we'll be back. Okay, so it's that simple. Just some parchment paper, slice. These ones I sliced a little thicker, right? And I'm going to freeze them and then put them in the bag that I already have, and that's enough now. I'll have a bag full. I'll show you later. Okay, so these ones are larger than that. It's almost more than twice as much. There's 3 different kinds of kale, and then I took the one that was tall and skinny. I just chopped them off the ends there, lay them out flat, freeze them, and then they'll break up, and then that's good for soup, right? These you can eat for whatever.